My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Annabelle Comes Home. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I have a very interesting relationship with this movie because in June 2019, I saw this movie back to back with the Child's Play remake. A movie that I love, by the way, but I hated this movie. I thought the characters were stupid and frustrating. I thought the movie was never scary. I thought the movie was generic. So I really hated it. But a couple years ago, I decided to give this movie another shot, and I don't know what to tell you, but I loved it on a rewatch. I thought it was creepy and fun and just an awesome movie, and now I go back to this movie quite a bit. Like, this latest rewatch was the third time I've watched this movie in the past year. So I believe it deserves more credit, but let's begin by talking about the cast. And McKenna Grace does a really great job. I love how you can tell that she's different. She's an outcast, but she's still a very likable character and she sells you on everything that she needed to. Madison Iceman, I think, does a great job as well. She brought plenty of sweetness and charm and personality to this character. And Katie Saroff plays Danella, and this can be a frustrating character. But there is a level of depth to her, and by the end, you all won over. And I really liked her relationship with Judy. So she ends up being a real standout. Michael Cimino, I think, does a perfectly fine job. I'm just not the biggest fan of Bob as a character. And it's nice to see Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson in one of these movies. I know they're not in it much, but they're still a delightful presence. So the cast is really good, and I just love how different this movie feels. Like, yes, it's creepy, and yes, it's a Conjuring movie, but it also feels a little lighthearted, and it kind of feels like Goosebumps for adults. And I really dug that approach. And Gary Doubleman just does a great job directing this movie. Like, the movie is well shot and there is some incredibly done moments. There's one scene of the bride and she's outside the house in a window. And then she's in the next window and the camera keeps panning and now she's in the meal and the camera keeps panning and now she's in the house across the hallway. Just brilliantly done. There's also this scene where this color wheel falls on the ground and you see Annabelle turning into the demon, but with each passing color, her form changes, and this is just a breathtaking sequence. And the movie is just very tense, very atmospheric, and I do find this movie to be scary. There's one scene of Judy watching TV and it turns off, so she's looking for the remote under the couch and she finds the Annabelle doll and that scene got under my skin. There's a scene of Judy in bed, and the demon is under the sheets with her. That's a really disturbing moment. And oh, the ferryman scene is so good. It is so unnerving and so tense and just so damn effective. So yes, this movie from a directing standpoint is very impressive, but I also just love all the crazy shit we see in this movie. Like, the first Conjuring has ghosts and demons and whatnot. The second Conjuring has the Crooked Man and the Nun and Bill Wilkins. Annabelle Creation has a demon and the doll, but this movie just has a lot of evil shit. There's the bride. Well, whoever wore this dress got possessed. There's this TV that shows you 5 seconds into the future. There's the Annabelle doll, of course. There's this samurai. There's a werewolf. And there's this terrifying ferryman. There's just so much cool shit in this movie, and I wish all of those creatures got their own movies. That would have been great. And also like just how creative this movie can be. Like, Daniela gets possessed by the bride, and in order to save her, Judy plays a tape of her parents performing an exorcist, and it's just good outside the box thinking. There is so much great setup and payoff as well. These movies do such a great job with that. And I think this movie can be quite heartfelt by the end. Well, the kids end up going to Judy's birthday party. It's just a feel-good note. And I know some people hate this movie because Daniela can be a very frustrating character, and I get it. I once hated this movie, but her actions do feel honest. Like, these characters don't know they're in a horror movie, and this is a teenager grieving her dad, and she feels somewhat responsible. So, I kind of believed that she would act the way she did. But my issues with this movie are the fact that it can feel a little too slow to get going, and Bob as a character just feels really tacked on. Like, I get it, they wanted a romance between Mary and Bob, but Bob is barely in this movie. They don't spend any time together, so he just feels unnecessary. So, anyways, I still love this movie. I love the story. I love all the crazy shit we get here. I love how creepy this movie can be. I love the lighter vibe of it. And I think the cast does a really good job. So, this is a movie I've come to love, and it's a movie I will watch so many more times. So, I'll give Annabelle Comes Home an 8.5 out of 10. And I mean it. I really wish we got movies on The Ferryman and The Future TV and The Bride, The Werewolf. This universe could have been even bigger and I would have loved it. But Annabelle Comes Home. Have you seen it? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin out.